For months, the conversation around Cleetus McFarland was about how fast he could climb, more approvals, bigger tracks, a seat with Richard Childress Racing. Then he walked into a shop, looked at a car that costs a fraction of what he had been racing, and bought it on the spot. The number 33 Pro Late model from Port City Race Cars, prepared through Rette Jones Racing. No superspeedway. No national television window. And according to nearly everyone inside the sport, this single purchase does more for his future than anything he has done in the last 2 years. The timing makes it even more significant. On August 15, at Berlin Raceway in Marne, Michigan, the first event of his own late model series will run for a $20,000 winner's payout. That date is days away. The car that made it possible was purchased only recently, and the entire structure around it, the series, the purse, the schedule, grew out of that one decision. The car is a straight-rail late-model chassis built by Port City Race Cars, campaigned as the number 33 through Rette Jones Racing. Cleetus McFarland, whose real name is Garrett Mitchell, unveiled it in a recent video on his YouTube channel. The choice of Rette Jones Racing as the partner is not incidental. That organization already competes regularly in pro late models, and it is the same team that ran his program in the ARCA Menard Series, including the number 30 entry he drove at Talladega Superspeedway. The people, the equipment, and the working relationship were already established before this car existed. He did not have to build a program from nothing. He plugged a new car into a structure that was already functioning. The shakedown happened at Tri-County Speedway, where he completed a full day of testing. The session included a minor spin partway through, which is a normal outcome for a driver learning a car type he has never run before. His reaction after the first run of the day was direct. "This thing is way better than all of the other cars I've been driving," said Cleetus McFarland following his first run of the day. He continued describing what stood out, saying, "Dude, it's got so much grip. And it doesn't have so much horsepower that you instantly get in trouble all the time. And the one time it slid, it actually drove okay. It wasn't terrifying because I wasn't going 180. He also described the physical demand of the car, noting, "My neck is literally burning, you're almost turning the whole time, so it's a little more intense than I'm used to." He closed the assessment with a short verdict, "This thing is sick. The brakes are crazy good." That last detail about constant steering input matters more than it appears. On a superspeedway, a driver holds a line and manages the draft. On a short track, the car is being turned nearly the entire lap. It is a different physical task, and he felt it immediately. To understand why this purchase matters, you have to separate two things that often get confused: raw speed and racecraft. Cleetus McFarland has already demonstrated speed. In 2025, driving for Rette Jones Racing, he made his first starts in the ARCA Menard Series and earned top 10 finishes at Talladega Superspeedway and Charlotte Motor Speedway, with a best result of 9th at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The highlight of his career to this point came at Talladega Superspeedway in the spring of 2026, where he nearly won the ARCA Menard Series race and finished second to Andy Jankowiak. Across 2 years, he has made 7 starts in that series. Then there is the other side of the record. In February of 2026, he made his NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series debut at Daytona International Speedway in the season-opening event and finished 37th after an early crash. In April, he made his NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series debut at Rockingham Speedway. At Nashville Superspeedway in June, he had to start last after qualifying was rained out, and he finished 32nd. Multiple laps down, though he showed clear improvement compared to Rockingham Speedway. The pattern is consistent. Where drafting and sustained throttle carry the day, he is competitive. Where the driver has to manage tire wear, identify brake points, control corner entry, and read traffic lap after lap, the gap becomes visible. Those short track and intermediate skills are repetition-based. They are not acquired in a simulator or across a handful of national series starts. They come from volume, and volume is exactly what a pro late model provides. Cleetus McFarland explained the reasoning himself. "Everyone told me that these pro late models are so fun to drive," he said in the video. I'll get a lot of experience for a lot cheaper than what I have been doing, just going and racing ARCA all the time, which I still plan to do. But this is going to give me some racecraft that I desperately needed. Racing around a lot of cars, close quarters, that's the type of stuff where you just can't get good at it unless you do it a lot. And so, I'm hoping this Pro Late model is going to give me the opportunity to get a lot more racecraft. Consider the arithmetic behind that statement. One weekend in the ARCA Menard Series costs a substantial amount and delivers a limited number of competitive laps at a single track. The same money spread across Pro Late model events delivers multiple race nights, multiple practice sessions, and far more time in close quarters traffic. He is not buying horsepower. He is buying repetitions. The strongest evidence that this was the correct decision is that one of the most respected voices in the sport recommended it publicly, repeatedly, and well before it happened. The sequence started after the crash at Daytona International Speedway. Dale Earnhardt Junior welcomed Cleetus McFarland onto the download following that debut. On that episode, Cleetus McFarland shared the news that he had received an offer to join Richard Childress Racing for select NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series starts over the next 2 seasons. Dale Earnhardt Jr. explained that while he was moving quickly into his racing career, the incident has happened to even veteran racers such as himself, and reassured him that the training and education he would receive at Richard Childress Racing would expedite his growth as a racer, giving him information he would never be able to gain in the ARCA Menard Series ranks. The conversation also covered the danger involved in his stunt work and the prospect of going late model racing. The message sharpened later. At the Cars Tour race at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, Dale Earnhardt Jr. laid out exactly what he thought the path should be. "Cleetus could come race with us," Earnhardt said. "I would help him. This is a series that guys like that need to be racing in as opposed to trying to get cleared for Talladega in an O'Reilly car. If the phone rings, he's going to answer it, and he's going to listen just like anyone else, and he's right about that. If somebody presents him with an opportunity, nobody should have a problem with that." He then described the specific work required. He should absolutely seek out opportunities to race pro cars, late models, late model stocks. He should absolutely be going to local short tracks and getting in anything he can and just getting laps. He doesn't have to be winning. He just needs to go race and run and learn and experience and just get a big catalog of experience to take up through the higher ranks. After the Nashville Superspeedway race, Dale Earnhardt Jr. was asked on his Ask Junior podcast for his assessment. "Well, it was a lot of mistakes. I thought he did fine," Dale Earnhardt Jr. said of the performance. "My whole feeling about his deal is, if he can get himself 2 full seasons or a couple of years in ARCA running all the ARCA races, all of them, short tracks everywhere, if he could go do that, man, I think he would be way better off to try to tackle this O'Reilly stuff." He then explained the specific risk of continuing with occasional National Series starts. "So, while I don't mind him running the one-off O'Reilly race every now and then, I just think he's going to be frustrated. Because the results won't, the race started, he passed a couple cars. But it's like Joey Gase and those guys, and he's in a way better car than they are. He caught a few people. And that's great, he was excited about that. But eventually he's going to go, all right, man, I know I need to take this car and I need to be running up here. And when he has that happen, he's going to get frustrated." Then came the most pointed observation of all. "If he's in it to have fun, run good, and still learn at the same rate, you can go do that in the ARCA series." Earnhardt explained. "He's got a pro late model that he built. Go run that. I mean, he's got a racetrack. I would be at that racetrack running laps. Right now, on a Tuesday, he could be just running sets of tires at his track in his pro. That is precisely what has now happened." There is one piece of context worth stating openly. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is part of the ownership group for the Cars Tour, so he has an interest in seeing drivers like Cleetus McFarland compete there. That does not weaken the advice. It simply means both things are true at once. The recommendation aligns with what every developmental path in stock car racing has historically required. What separates this situation from most is the follow-through. Drivers receive advice constantly. Acting on it, especially when the advice points backward in prestige rather than forward, is far less common. The dimension most coverage has underplayed is that this purchase serves two functions simultaneously. Cleetus McFarland owns the Freedom Factory, formerly DeSoto Speedway, a 3/8-mile oval in Bradenton, Florida. He promotes events there including the Freedom 500 and the 2.4 Hours of Le Mullets, and he runs a traveling series of all-star races using old Ford Crown Victoria sedans. That series has drawn competitors including Carson Hocevar and Tony Stewart in recent years. His plan is to attach a late model series to that existing operation. My plan with that deal is to just start my own late model series that will travel with the Crown Vics, McFarland told Short Track Scene. We do about 6 events a year with the Crown Vics. So I want to start my own little pro late model series on top of that, tag them with what we're already doing. The logistical efficiency is the point. Then, wherever we go, the local can join us or my friends with late model and can join us. We're already at the track with the Crown Vics, so might as well run the late model too. That's my current outlook on using them. I'm committed to learning those cars and put on a bunch of races to the schedule. The track, the crew, the equipment transport, and the audience are already committed for those 6 events. Adding a late model class to the same card costs comparatively little and creates additional racing for both the promoter and the driver. There is an existing partnership he intends to respect rather than compete against. The Freedom Factory currently hosts WARA events with promoter Ricky Brooks, and McFarland wants the longtime racer and technical director involved. I'm going to ask him if we can partner up in some ways, McFarland said. But also, it's not that big of a deal to turn a pro into a super, so I want to run some in his superclass too. But really, with these races I'm talking about, my internal team would run it because we're already running races. He added, we're more than capable of hosting a small race with one class of late models, so that's kind of the tentative plan. That plan is now real. Under the name Cleetus McFarland's Late Model Series, the debut event is scheduled for August 15 at Berlin Raceway in Marne, Michigan, with a $20,000 winner's payout. Against a short track landscape where purses have been comparatively low, that figure is significant enough to attract a strong entry list. He is also building toward national short track competition. On May 1 at the Indy 800 at Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park, Cleetus McFarland confirmed he was working on a car to run in the car's Tour Pro Late Model division. I'm building a pro late model, McFarland said. It will be done in hopefully a few weeks, and then I got to get my feet wet in that world a little bit. I'm hoping to go up there and run with those guys. The result is a structure where the laps he needs as a driver double as content and as gate revenue. The car helps pay for its own seat time. None of this replaces the National Series program. In March of 2026, Richard Childress Racing announced that Garrett Mitchell would make his NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series debut driving the number 33 Tommy's Express Chevrolet as a third entry in the organization's championship-winning program. Tommy's Express operates more than 270 locations across 37 states. To have the opportunity to make my NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series debut with a legendary race team like Richard Childress Racing is a dream come true, said Mitchell. It's a huge honor, and I am incredibly grateful to learn under the leadership of Richard Childress, Mike Verlander, Danny Lawrence, and everyone in Welcome, North Carolina. The Rockingham Speedway debut required a specific sequence of events. McFarland and the number 33 team were locked into the race after him racing withdrew Nick Sanchez, leaving 38 entries for 38 positions. He had initially needed to make the field on speed due to owners' points. That detail belongs in the record. The relationship extends beyond the contract. On July 17 at Stafford Speedway, Richard Childress, age 80, returned to a race car as part of a Crown Victoria event, his first competitive laps in more than 40 years. Childress made 285 NASCAR Cup Series starts from 1969 to 1981, with a best career finish of third at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway in 1978, and finished in the top 10 in points 5 times. The guys at RCR have been beating me up saying, "You've got to get Richard in a race. You've got to do it. He'll do it." So I know he still drives aggressively. I hit him up. I said, "Hey, if you want to race Stafford, we'll do it." And he just texted me and said, "I'm in," said Cleetus McFarland. Jesse Love, the 2025 NASCAR Xfinity Series champion, was also in that field. Cleetus McFarland has been explicit that his goal extends past a single milestone. I think my future in NASCAR looks a lot longer now, and I'm trying to develop myself into a driver that's capable of competing at the higher levels. I'm not saying I'm just going to make it to the 500 and then just be done. I want to see where this opportunity at RCR goes and stay part of that for a long time. I want to keep learning as a driver and see where I end up. His next scheduled National Series start is the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series event at Talladega Superspeedway on October 23. The Pro Late model addresses a defined set of deficiencies. It teaches traffic management, restart positioning, tire fall off across long green flag runs, and the patience required to make a car last an entire event. Those are the exact skills that separated him from the field at Rockingham Speedway and Nashville Superspeedway. What it does not do is erase the experience gap. Cleetus McFarland is 31 years old and remains a part-time competitor. Many of the drivers he will face in pro late model competition have run hundreds of short track nights since childhood. One car and one season do not close that distance. The meaningful test is not the Berlin Raceway purse or the view count on the reveal video. It is whether he is still turning laps in this car on an ordinary Tuesday 6 months from now when there is no event, no audience, and no content reason to be at the track. That is the standard Dale Earnhardt Junior described. And it is the one that will determine whether this purchase changes his career. What can be verified today is the direction. He has stopped optimizing for the single highlight result and started optimizing for accumulated laps. In stock car racing, that shift has historically preceded improvement more reliably than any equipment upgrade.